Next up is the insurance policy renewal. Renee?
Alright. I'm Renee Stoddard from with Iowa Insurance in Lake City. We've had the city's policy with Iowa Community Assurance Pool, ICAP, for a long time. The pool has done very well in keeping premiums in line. And where you are at is on your general liability. You have $2 million per occurrence. And you have $2 million across the board, whether it's auto liability, errors and omissions on your board, all across the board, we have $2 million across the board on that. So we have an additional party endorsement, Merrill and Deborah Ludwig. And what we do there is the city is the primary liability, has the primary liability on that premises. So the kids go there to wait for the bus. Then if something occurs there, the city's liability takes place first. Then if it's exhausted, the $2 million is exhausted, then Merrill and Deborah Ludwig's comes into play, but we're primary on it. So the City of Auburn's primary. And Rachel Hudson and Jeff Hudson were primary on that too.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Doesn't the bus pick up all the kids now at their houses?
Oh, so they don't go to the
So we
museum
probably
anymore?
wouldn't need this, no.
Oh, we still have to insure.
But
We
that's
still have to
gazebo.
insure, okay,
That's city
Okay.
gazebo,
okay.
Okay, oh, okay,
yeah.
okay.
I just was curious,
It's not there because of,
the bus.
But
Okay.
I guess originally I thought it was, but maybe.
Yeah, that's
It
what,
kind of
Long
was.
time ago,
well, I guess
long
it
time
might
ago, I
be.
mean, we've done this, it was a long time ago, but I just thought that was the case, but yeah, still, so if somebody's in there picnicking or sitting around for the city and gets hurt or something, then our liability is primary on it.
okay.
And the municipal auto liability is just $2 million again, the liability. And then, we have medical expense of $5,000, which is common. We have a $200 deductible on comp and a $350 deductible on collision coverage on our autos. The only autos we have full coverage on are the 1984 dump truck and the 1999 Ford F-150 pickup. The other two, the antique fire truck and the dump truck, we just have liability on those. The public official's liability is $2 million, that's the errors and omissions. So if someone states, you know, if an auto accident, somebody comes in and says, you made an incorrect decision, you should have not had a big boulder there with the street sign on it, you know, that was a big mistake, then you guys have the coverage up to $2 million. It's just about things that occur that people feel you erred in that caused them some kind of property damage or bodily injury, and it's there to protect you. And it's there for all your volunteers. So on your general liability and on this coverage, anybody that's a volunteer for you is covered as well. So if you have cleanup day and they're all in helping, and they take a can of chemicals and they trail it across the guy's yard and ruin his grass, he actually would have that volunteer, there's coverage for it under our general liability, it's just an error our volunteer made. So that coverage extends, and it extends to all your boards too, because we have your boards listed. You have a, let's see, do you have a library board? And we have a museum, board, and we go over that every, the rec committee, we put that on there, just so they have that. Because that's, you know, that's key, I mean, I know you could, especially the rec board, or, it's just important to have that. So they are covered too, so that extends to them. Your police professional, that's just excess. You need to have it because you do have the sheriff department contracted, then they come to town, but you're not paying a big premium on it as if you had your own police officer. The property, the buildings and contents are blanketed. We have a $1,000 deductible and special form, which is the best kind of perils coverage that you can have. But there is no coverage on your transformers or poles. And I was gonna bring in a quote this year for you guys, but I was notified by underwriting that I have to list the location of every pole and every transformer, every one of the 100 poles. So I thought, well, we could work on that. You know, it wouldn't be that hard if we take a grid. So I thought I'd kind of like to work on that with maybe your right-hand man there. He could give me a location. I mean, I think we could take the streets and probably put a grid in where they're located. Wouldn't that be that hard? I go, 8 on First Street. I'm not planning on giving them,
No,
but
it
they
wouldn't.
wanna know.
Well,
So
we
I
got our
thought-
utility mapping done, I mean, most of that should be on there,
That's just the
Yeah.
lines. so-
Yeah.
It's the
Is that
lines
just
and
lines?
transformers, it's not
not
The
poles and all
poles
that,
and-
okay.
Yeah.
I
service
just say
lines.
help with the transformers would be
Yeah,
nice.
Yeah, the transfers would be on there, that'd be good. But even maybe if I come over, we could just drive around, figure it out, I don't know. Assign them numbers. We could try it. I don't know, you've never had the coverage, but you know, I get to thinking about it. And when like the Parkersburg tornado and stuff, I'm thinking, what are you gonna do with 100 poles down at $1,000 each? I mean, and I figure,
FEMA.
you always thought that the government would come in, and that's what,
Hopefully.
that's what the councils have always thought, guys. So I mean,
How much are we looking for, $100 a year for this coverage?
for that, that's why I don't know, until they won't give me a quote until I provide them with
Okay.
the exact location of every pole. So I didn't have that, so, but I'd like to get that for you, just to let you know, I don't know what it'd be. And whether you want it or not, you know, and if just one pole goes, you have $1,000 deductible, it costs $1,000 to put a pole in. So, you know, that's neither here nor there, but maybe they would give me some kind of rate break on the whole bunch. I just like to go after it and find out for you what it'd be, because you know, transformers, I don't know what they run, but, you know, it could be struck by lightning and maybe you haven't had any ever done, you know, I've never really had anybody ever call me and call me with a claim on one, you know, just to even
well, if
review
it
it.
totally went out, it'd be a couple $1,000 to replace a pole top transformer, the ones that are on the ground would be more than that.
Oh, really?
Those are probably looking
Yeah.
closer to 8,000 or 10,000 for ones that are on the ground.
It's just a thought, it's just something, every year we've never, ever taken it,
The
but
one
I'd
behind
like
the
to.
fire station was only $1,800,
Really.
yeah. So,
We were talking
Well, I
about
guess
the
we
big
don't
ones.
have three-phase in town, they are probably quite a bit cheaper.
Yeah, we do.
Do
We have three-phase.
no,
Maybe that big one by your sister's.
that one's not ours,
Who's this at?
that's Mid-Americans,
Oh, is it?
I think.
I think somebody moved that, ran into that and moved that this winter. You ever notice that?
Ooh, I didn't realize that. We should
No,
probably
Jerry
call-
says it's been that way quite a while.
Yeah, sometime this winter
Still, if
it
it's been moved,
happened.
maybe we should call Mid-America, give them a little heads up.
I think it's okay.
It just looked like somebody ran into it.
All right, I'm gonna show you there, and we'll go over the last page in a minute, but that, which is the property, but I wanted to go over the premiums with you. So this year, your premium is up, basically we have more property covered this year, and that's where it's going up. You have, basically across the board, everything's about even except for the property, and we did insure the street lamps and your, you know, street lights. And, we had a lot of damage in our square in Lake City once to the streetlights, and that's what made me think about your streetlights, because that's just something you never think to add to the coverage, but it's good to have it, because they were $7,000 apiece, so. This deduct for member credit, each year, ICAP gives a % of credit back to the city. And so as a member credit, and this is the percent they did designated was, and then you got back $771.47. But I want you to know the last 3 years, before this year, ICAP gave back 1/3 of your vested credit to you. So you got a check back for $1,700 every year for the last 3 years, which I thought was nice. That check came in June. This year, that was the end though. Last year was the end. So this year, the total premium is $9,031.53. And each year, I always have someone ask me what it'd be to go to 3 million across the board. And 3 million across the board is $11,279. So if you take the credit off of this year, the total premium would be $10,507.53. So that would be the difference to go to 3 million this year. Everybody always asks that every year, so I come in ready for you.
What about our new fire truck? Is there anything that, or are we just gonna
The
add that
township's
come?
fire truck.
Oh,
Uh-huh.
township
That's,
insures that one?
the
Okay.
fire department does that, we only have the antique,
Okay.
so, yeah. We do carry the workers' comp though for the county, or excuse me,
Fire
the
department.
workers' comp for the fire department.
Okay.
Okay,